Hello and welcome to the Musical Instrument Investigator. Today we're on the website of David Duggleby Auctioneers based in the UK, and we're going to have a look at their latest auction, which is an auction of musical instruments and some other bits, but we're just going to have a look at the musical instrument part. I think about 70 items or so we might as well just cover everything. This particular auction is finishing on the 16th of December, so it's in a few days time, 2 days 17 hours from now. It's the 13th at the moment. The buyer's premium for this auction is 21% there, but plus VAT. What we'll do is have a look quickly and just see what's kind of going on. Just before I do that, just to say this is a UK based auction, so if you're bidding or looking to buy from Europe or elsewhere in the world, then bear in mind kind of shipping, import, export, etc., and any other fees, CITES, regulations, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's just get on and see what's available. So I think about 70 items or so. French violin circa 1900, labelled Guadagnini there, 35.5 length of back, gives you a bit of a condition grade there, fair, good, some wear and damage. Condition report: varnish to top has failed with considerable crackling and blemishes. That's not necessarily bad. Estimate is 1,000 to 1,500 there. Oh, pre-auction bids. One pre-auction bid. Interesting. Let's scroll down here a bit and we can see what's going on there. So, looks like a kind of better level trade violin. I don't know if we can... this is the auction house where when you click on the picture it sends it to the top. So let's see, a bit difficult to maneuver. I just wanted to see if I could see a corner a bit, so difficult to tell, but I think this is fairly standard but higher level trade instrument, so I think we have to do this manually to move along. Got another German violin circa 1900. It's got fairly good condition. Let's just have a look down here. Looks also fairly standard. They're saying 500 to 1,000 is the estimate there. Pre-auction bid again, so there's some... it's popular. I presume that's saying that there are already bids on it, but who knows. August Thoma Pernambuco viola bow there, 100 to 150. Some pretty good pictures on this auction house. Like I said, I think this is not a bad auction house for a smaller one. Alfonso Idol Pernambuco viola bow there, 100 to 150. Yeah, everything seems to have pre-auction bids apparently, but maybe that's a mistake. Mid-19th century Mittenwald violin, 1850s. So with the Pietro Guarneri label, reasonably good condition. Let's have a look a bit at the scroll. Oh, we're messing that around a bit. So just see, looks like it might have a graft there, so yes, fairly interesting violin. If we have a look at the back there as well, yeah, quite a nice violin. 500 to 1,000. I think that will do well in the grand scheme of things. I think that will probably sell quite well. Then moving on a bit here, I've lost track a bit. Mid-19th century violin, composed of various parts, some late 18th century. Okay, 350 to 500 is the estimate. Have a look at that. Another kind of fairly interesting violin there. If we have a look at some of the corner work, difficult to maneuver this thing unfortunately, but an interesting looking violin there. I think that will also do quite well. 35.5 length of back. And German trade violin here from 1900, 2 to 300, needs attention. I think that seems about right there. French violin circa 1890 there. Looks actually not too bad. One needs a bit of repair in TLC, but 100 to 150, I think that's kind of okay. So 14 assorted violin and cello bows, 50 to 100 there on that. Difficult to see what's going on, but might be a good lot in there. Saying another German trade violin, 1900. Looks fairly standard, that one. 60 to 90. 1970s Hungarian Polar viola, 40.5 length the back. Saying 80 to 120. That seems completely reasonable. That is what you'd expect. I still can't work out if this is actually bids or there's some counter, but if so far there's bids on everything, which is interesting. French Medafino 3/4, so we know what these are. 40 to 60. It's a French trade instrument at a lower level, but still quite usable. It's another German trade violin, circa 1900. Let's see here, 150 to 200 on that. Yeah, that's a bit more what we're normally used to seeing of the trade variety. Let's have a look here. We've got a Maggini violin, a German Maggini one. Once again, that looks fairly standard here. 2 to 300 on that. Another French 3/4 violin, 80 to 120. That's fairly standard. It's a Czechoslovakian violin and a couple of other violins, 70 to 100 on that. And German trade violin, 1950s, 50 to 80. Yep, looks like it. 1920s German trade violin. I think for the most part that the descriptions are fairly accurate. 19th century French 3/4 violin, 80 to 120. One of these standard conservatory ones. And German violin for restoration in a little mandolin there. See there. Have a look at that image there. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. 40 to 70. And a hop violin circa 1900 there. See, 30 to 50 on that. It's that standard kind of Hopf trade violin. A lot more violins than I thought there'd be. 20th century French violin there, 50 to 70. And another 3/4 violin there, 60 to 80. Let's have a quick look at the back on that actually. Not too bad. We've got a cello here, Hofner, Alfred Stingel by Hofner, 650 to 700, with a good kind of carbon case there, carbon fibre case. And let's just make sure that we're not missing any here. Mid-19th century German cello there, 2 to 300 on that. Needs a substantial amount of repair there, but could be okay after a bit of TLC. An incomplete amateur-made violin circa 1880 for restoration. Okay, and a couple of bows. I mean, I don't think that this is quite an amateur violin. I think this is just like a low level trade violin personally, but 50 to 80 anyway on that. And moving on, it keeps on dropping us down. Late 19th century French 7/8 size violin there, 300 to 500. Saying fairly kind of standard. Mid 19th century German violin, 100 to 150. Looks, yeah, very normal. A few more things here. Stentor student violin, another student violin there, all pretty normal. French Pernambuco viola bow with Matteo Paris on it, 100 to 200 on that. And let's click onto this. Late 19th century Saxon violin, saying Joseph Klotz in Mittenwald, 200 to 300. Once again, quite a few pictures there. And another mid 19th century amateur made violin, probably English, inscription H. Carlin. Let's have a look at that, 100 to 200. Interesting kind of scroll on that. A couple of bows, if there's a side image there. Let's have a look. Yeah, interesting looking violin that. Okay, and then moving on to, we've got another bow here, nickel mounted Pernambuco double bass bow, J.E. Vickers, silver tip, 50 to 100. This is or was a known kind of English maker. You occasionally see Vickers stuff around. I haven't seen enough to know about if this is one of his bows or not, but it's definitely possible. And then we're on to other stuff now. Mixer there, PV amplifier, some more PV speakers, Carlsbro amplifier there, another kind of couple of amps there, Grant model 12-string acoustic, Epiphone Junior kind of guitar there, SG double neck, PV Vampire amp there, 2009 Fender Blues Junior, Fishman Loudbox mini guitar amp, Raleigh 5-string banjo and a acoustic guitar there, Yamaha acoustic, Nagoya Suzuki acoustic, Richwood electric bass. Let's have a look at this. Gibson Marauder style 6-string electric guitar with cherry coloured body, made in Japan, 100 to 200. Well, I think that's really quite underestimate on that, unless there's some really bad kind of problems with it. That's a cool looking guitar there. Looks in reasonable condition with slight wear to bottom edges, electrical condition unknown. I think that's it's an interesting one, that one. Framus archtop acoustic, let's have a look at that one. 70 to 100 on that. It's a standard one. Vintage Daon 12-string acoustic guitar, 1950s acoustic guitar with F-holes. Let's have a quick look into this one. Looks kind of okay, but nothing too crazy. Stag heavy metal guitar and another guitar there. A 2011 Gibson Les Paul traditional gold top there. Excellent condition apparently. 1300 to 1600 there if you're interested in Gibson guitars. 2009 ES339 custom sunburst electric guitar, also excellent condition, 1400 to 1800. Santa Cruz Guitar Company acoustic guitar, high-end acoustic, looks to be in virtually mint condition, 1500 to 2000. And you can see the photographer there in the image of the back. Always interesting. Okay, and now on to the next page. I don't think there's too many more items. Ozark resonator there. That seems quite are these that expensive? I don't think they were. 1200 to 1500. I'd have to look. I would have to look that up, but I don't think that these are. I wouldn't have thought that these are that expensive from new, to be honest, but could be wrong. Hagstrom's semi-acoustic there, designed by James L. D'Agusto, 4 to 600. And Taylor Model 114 acoustic, 4 to 600 there. Said the pictures in this auction are always pretty good, and the description's fair. SG Junior Music Drive, Vintage Advance AV6, Italian Mondial guitar there. 1962 for Fender Precision bass guitar, refinished in natural alder in the 1970s. Bet someone's regretting that one. General condition is consistent with age and use. 3 cracks in the scratch guard through screw holes, considerable fingernail wear from playing, lots of other nicks and scratches to the surface consistent with regular use. Vendor advises electrically working but hasn't been played for a number of years. Some case lining loose, 4.5 to 5,500 on that one. So if you're interested in bass guitars, I mean, I guess it's going to be considerably cheaper than if it had its original finish on it. It's amazing how many of those actually got refinished. 1963 Fender Jazz 3-knob bass guitar. Okay. The professional guitar of Howard Levitt. From new to his death in 2005, Howard played in the Humperdinks, the backing group for Engelbert Humperdinck. Okay, also played in the backing group for Max Bygraves and in the band Hedgehoppers Anonymous. Okay, the guitar is also sold in the manuscript letter of provenance from Howard's wife. Okay, £7,000 to £10,000. That's pretty, substantial, and a good bit of provenance there. Overall condition is consistent with an instrument that has been played professionally for over 40 years, having been adapted in colour to change fashions in the 1970s. The case is similarly worn. There are numerous crudely repainted bumps and cracked into the white body. The chrome pickup guards are rusty. Vendor advises electrically in working order but hasn't been played for a number of years. So there we go. But interesting to see that nevertheless. Early 20th century mandolin there, not super exciting. Neapolitan mandolin. Once again, not the highest level, but interesting. Tuner plates there, 40 to 60. What else do we have here? Morris Vincent Ongar Island, 17-string lute there. Okay. 350 to £500 on that. Potentially a decent lute in a good case. So I wonder if we can make out what... Oh, it's a Paxman case. I mean, these are pretty expensive cases anyway, so it's good. Yeah, probably a good lute and a good case. So that's interesting to see. Eastman mandolin. It's kind of a more modern mandolin there. Another Eastman mandolin. Let's just quickly click on the clarinets to see. A few clarinets there. 30 to 40. We don't see many drum things, so let's have a look at this. Pair of Stag conga drums. 40 to 70. They're doing well with the pitches there. Some Piper chanter kit and a stylophone and a harmonica. A few other kind of things. Yeah, interesting. A bit of a random lot there, to be honest. Well, we've always got to have a concertina, of course. 19th century Lacanal concertina, hexagonal form. 100 to 200. Looks like a fairly nice one. I would suspect that it's going to go for a bit over 200. Interesting. Lacquered brass King alto saxophone there. Some instrument cases. Lark cornet there. Besson bass trumpet. Earlham silver plated flute. Lark clarinet. Oh, that's interesting. Disassembled early 20th century Boys Brigade snare drum. World War I period. Photograph of the Kirby Moorside Boys Brigade, early 20th century, with the hardwood clarinet, bagpipes chanter, dulcet E-flat, penny whistle. Okay, that's quite interesting. 30 to 40. I mean, I'm sure there's lots of people out there that collect kind of Boys Brigade related memorabilia and stuff, so I'm sure it'll do alright. We've got a Klink scale Crucianelli piano accordion there, Hohner Verdi 1 piano accordion, Behringer XU Control MIDI controller. Oh, we've got a 1970s Knowles oak-cased harpsichord dated 1974. That's interesting. A lot fair, a lot likely in need of some restoration or not in working order. Okay. Movement requires attention, some strings detached and 4 pluckers missing. Case in reasonable condition with minor chips to edge and a little shaky on the legs. 2 to 300. So, you know, if you're someone that wants to practice repairing a contemporary harpsichord, then this is potentially a good opportunity for you. It might not go too crazy in the valley. And I think that's basically it. There's a phonograph, but that's already a little bit detached from what we're looking at. So there we go. This has been the David Duggleby auction. I actually think it's a pretty good auction. There's a fair few, you know, fairly interesting things there. Some good guitars, some good kind of bowed stringed instruments. I think the descriptions seem quite reasonable. I didn't obviously read all of them, but you see some of the condition report stuff. It all seems reasonable. Lots of good photos. The only thing which is a bit annoying is the photo layout. If you want to click on one photo to see the bigger one, you have to then scroll back up to the top, so that's a bit irritating. But other than that, I think a decent auction house. So yeah, the link is in the description. Check it out for yourself. Obviously a couple of days left to go, so you can bid on stuff and yeah, just see what you think. So once again, thanks a lot for watching, appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time. Bye. Many thanks for tuning in to the Musical Instrument Investigator. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, then please like, subscribe and turn on notifications, and watch out for the next video coming soon.